Hi, fifth graders. Today's lesson is lesson 14-3, solve problems using ordered pairs. Now remember, as we have learned, ordered pairs, let me get a little, are usually written where there's an x coordinate and a y coordinate. You will be learning that if you haven't already, or someday, just to know that an ordered pair is an x coordinate and a y coordinate. The I can statement is I can solve real world problems by graphing points. So pause the video now and write the lesson number at the top of a brand new page in your math notebook. Write the title and then also write the new I can statement in your math notebook. Press play when you are ready to continue. Today's solve and share problem reads, the table below uses number patterns to describe changes in the width and length of a rectangle. Let x be the width and y be the length. Then plot each of the four ordered pairs in the table on the coordinate grid. What do you think the length of the width is if the width is 5? Go ahead and solve this problem any way you choose. Press play when you are ready to see how I would work the problem and other students. Okay, let's go ahead and work this problem. This one's a little different. Cubes doesn't really fit the style, but we're going to kind of go through anyway to help us break down the problem. There's really no numbers to circle except for 5. That's what it wants us to find at the end. We need to underline the question, but you have to, and this one is tricky because it's kind of a two-part. We need to plot each of the four ordered pairs. And then it also asks, what do you think the length is if the width is 5? So that's the question I want to answer. The length is blank when the width is 5. So we're wanting to find the length after we solve all of this. Next, we want to box the keywords. Let's review the problem. The table below uses number patterns to describe changes in the width and length of a rectangle. Let x be the width, so x is the width, and let y be the length. Then plot each of the four ordered pairs in the table of the coordinate grid. What do you think the length is if the width is 5? So notice that we need to keep in mind that the width is represented by x and that length is represented by y. So that's length, and down here is width. So next, we need to evaluate and visualize. So when I do this, it's asking me to plot each point. So notice when I'm doing my graph, I first want to start with the x coordinate, which would be here. When I'm doing x, I want to go over. So the first thing I need to do is find, I'm starting with 1. So I find 1 on my graph, and then length is the y-axis, and when we do the y-axis, we go up or down. So x is across, y is up and down. So let's start over. My x-axis is at 1, and my y-axis is at 11. So I'm going to count up to 11 to plot, sorry, this is hard to hit here, to plot my point. So my first axis, or ordered pair, is 1, 11. My next ordered pair is 2, 10. Again, the x-axis is 2. I'm going to look at 2 on the x-axis, and then I'm going to move up to 10, and there's my new point. The third plot, the ordered pair is 3, 9. I count 1, 2, 3. Oh, I got that one. 3 on the graph, and then I go up positive 9. So count all the way up to hit 9. And my fourth ordered pair is 4, 8. Again, I count 1, 2, 3, 4 on the x-axis, and then up 8. So up to 8. And then plot my point. So again, this is x, these are y. So you'll notice a pattern on the graph. You'll see that, and it also tells you that for the rule for width is you add 1. So again, each square you add 1 movement over on the graph. So we went from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. And then the length is when you subtract 1. So the pattern there is -1, -1, -1. So now that we've plotted the 4 points of ordered pairs, it says, what do you think the length is if the width is 5? So we know the width is x. So here's our 5, and we need to find what y would be. So notice that it follows the pattern. Remember, the pattern for width was add 1. So we added 1 each time. Sorry, my phone rang. So notice the X pattern continues consistently by adding 1 to each. The problem let us know that the width is 5. And so now we need to figure out what the length would be. So knowing that the pattern is continuing, the length for y-axis, the pattern is -1 each time consistently. So I know that if I take 8 minus 1, my y-coordinate is now going to be 7. So my new line to plot would be 5, 7. So I go over 5 spaces. I count over 5. Remember, y is up and down. So then I count to 7. And yes, this definitely follows the pattern of what the graph is telling us in the rules. And remember, the question says, what do you think the length is if the width is 5? Well, now we know that the length is 7. Let's go ahead and look to see how other students work the problem. This is how Drew solved the problem. It asks, how does Drew use the graph to find the solution? It looks like Drew did similar things to what we did. He plotted every point that was given to us. He started with 111, 210, 39, 48, and then he got to 57. So he extended the pattern of the coordinates that they gave us. Here's Denny's work. Oh, Denny's my dad's name. It says, how does Denny find the solution? So not only did Denny plot all 4 points, but instead of drawing another line, he followed the pattern. He knew that the x-axis added 1 every time to get 5, and then he knew the y-axis subtracted 1 every time, and that is how he arrived at 7. So his new plot point would have been over 5 and up 7 to get him here, to follow and continue the pattern. Next, I want you to reflect on your thinking in your work. Was this something that came easy to you? Was this something that was hard? Do you have questions? Or is this something that you are able to work on? I think line plots and graphing is so fun, so I hope you do too. Be sure to write a summary in your notebook and be ready to share and discuss and keep that to evaluate your thinking as we move forward with the lesson. Have a good day.